Walking down the street in Ireland in no particular town. Just kidding. Jen has informed me that we're in Shannontown.
No, it's not Shannontown. We're in Shannon.
It is in Shannon. Did you see any of the signs? They all said Shannontown.
No.
It's Shannontown.
No.
Look at this wall.
No.
Totally ended up in an Irish mall before everything's open on a Sunday.
I love malls.
Jen loves malls. Why? Why? Every time. Welcome to Tipperary. Look at that giant church back there. It was like how giant trees on the side of a mountain look. They're huge. I like how the sides of the roads are just lined with these yellow flowers. It looks so nice. We're going into the mountains. I always liked in Ireland, all the houses are just lined up in a row and a lot of them look exactly the same. Look how just right in the middle of the town there's this giant castle sticking up. It's pretty intense. We're gonna go hang out there for a minute. That is a pretty sweet moat. I think it's much better than our moat at our place. Look at all this.
And there's another place with a cannonball.
You guys see the cannonball stuck in the wall up there? It's pretty crazy, right? Look at these doors. Man, can we go like knock on the giant knocker right there? This is absolutely my favorite thing. We're in the bathroom, right? We come outside. We are now in a castle.
And on your way out later, if you look up to the left from the main gate, there's another one embedded in the outside wall as well.
That's where the oil came out.
Oh.
Right, just a mention about the colours. There's one of only about 3 still working in Ireland, although the last time that one was like was about 20 years ago. They just recorded the sound of a portcullis.
Wow. Jeez.
The fact that the wind normally comes from that direction. I did this about a year ago, sword in your right hand fighting somebody off, but your sword would be on the outside of the staircase. Because anybody attacking you, there'd only be room for one. His sword would be impeded by the middle of the staircase. Like this.
Ah, the Great Hall. It is the greatest.
That's huge.
What do you see? Oh.
A moat.
A moat?
A moat.
Oh yeah, look, there it is. It's moaty. Huh. It's really impressive. Jen points out my 900 BC or AD motion detector. Whoa, this is getting crazy right here. They're shooting arrows at people. So you can get the view of everything.
Yeah. Last time I just see through the door.
Taking the one way we're not supposed to go. Look at, people must have had crazy, oh, there's another room up here.
Yeah. But you can't get in though, right?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh. It's shaky though. Little tiny fireplace. The floor is like super shaky in here. This is my favorite room in the entire place.
Sitting in an empty room.
Now spin. Oh look. You can see where I like how there's just these little spots. They're ancient air conditioners or heaters. And all of these things are where they used to stick the things. What are they called?
The
like torches?
Yeah.
So I wonder what the ceiling's made out of. You think that's thatched? It's like spray foam insulation.
Yeah, I was wondering why did they do this?
Oh dear.
What?
So this is the room where people at the castle used to come to poop, and there's a long chute here, and that's where I think the term poop chute comes from. And they would let all the poop go down there and just stay there. There's a guy who used to clean it out twice a year, and then what they would do is they'd store all their unused clothes in here, and as the ammonia built up from the decomposing feces and urine, they believed that the ammonia would drive the bugs out of all their clothes, and then they would just use various herbs and stuff to keep the smell out. But the tour guide said that they didn't mind it because they got used to it.
You want to do that at home?
There's 6 of these around the castle.
We're gonna find all 6. It's like a scavenger hunt. Hey Dad, go over there and cook me something in the kitchen. This is the kitchen, yeah. Just not on the light. That's not the kitchen. I don't know what they used to cook out here, but I don't even know how they did it. And downward into the well. Ooh, hey now. Yeah, where are you? Oh, he's like going into the well. Where the heck is he going? Is that where the poop chute ends up?
Here, is this the jail?
It might be. I think we can get up into the tower that we were going to go into through here. You can't even see anything down there.
There are rocks, like pebbles on the
Oh,
stuff.
look at you guys look so angelic. Watch your head, Doug. It's been awfully dangerous. And then you got to make that turn there and go up those staircases there. It's got a lot of windows for a jail though, but it could be. I don't know.
How'd you like to be? Oh, look at this. Look at the spider web.
I know.
Wow, that's crazy.
Craziness. They weren't joking about this being tight. Oh, here's another little like room. These might be just like armories for shooting arrows at people. Can you make it anymore? Oh, look, shamrocks.
Sorry. Yeah, I was looking for.
What's this little hole, do you think?
I don't know.
Huh. Maybe a guy like went up inside here. I don't even think you could go up inside there. Huh, we'll have to look. This was worth it. Wait till we get up to, oh, we were already up there. Can we go up to this one? I hope we can. Smells different up here. Dang, I wish we could get up there. It looks way cool. Oh, it's tight. It's tight. Yeah, it is pretty impressive how they made this thing. It's so tight. We figured that this is so tight because if somebody actually made their way up into that tower that we were just on, then it would be restrictive so that they wouldn't be able to really get inside the castle without one heck of a stab fest here at the bottom of the stairs. These are the unprotected stairs. Ooh, Dad, these are gonna be dangerous. Oh, see here. Haha! I pour hot oil on you. Haha, you're trying to come up my stairs. But it seems awfully easy to get up to here from there. Looks like they're doing some renovation work in here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is impressive how tiny the stairs actually are. Now here's that room right there. We'll protect the castle walls from a high. I told them we already got one. We seek the Grail. Look at this. This is, what did they say that was? That was like a torch hole. This is a musket hole, and that's for arrows and crossbows.
That's what that is too. I think, right?
Oh no, that was to, they had a steel door that came down, or like a guard door that had a chain that you could pull up, and it came down from right there. And then they would pour hot oil on you up there. Needless to say, you're pretty much not getting into this door. And he said it was really funny too, because he said that if you look up, like I'm right in the center of this door, and you look up, that spot where they pour the oil out is a little bit off to the right, because they account for the wind. Is this the king's quarters? There's a ghost!
No, it's a horse.
A horse. All right.
It's got a hole in the floor.
What's this? Oh, there's another one. That seems to go off to over there. This is what they used to pull up the door.
Oh wow.
Look at how crazy, and they had to stick giant sticks in those squares and crank it down one at a time. This is the one of two working, what did he call this, some sort of special door?
It's this.
The portcullis. Jen's opening up all the windows in the place.
That's why they kept the computer panel, because you have to just have to go for internet ports.
And they could also keep guard up above us, above the tower here. And then my mom says also, Jen,
What?
that these holes were for pouring hot oil through, so that if you didn't like the people, poured hot oil on them and then shot them with arrows. Jen has locked us in. Now what?
Now I open the door.
Yeah, ooh.
Open sesame.
Open sesame.
Open sesame.
Yeah. These chairs, Jen points out all the good stuff. Look at these chairs. No, it was just cold in that room.
It feels a little warmer.
They've got the radiator somewhere.
The great fireplace.
Yeah, it is great. And then if they really don't like you, they open up this floor, the hole in the floor, and they poop out the window on you. Here we go. We're going to be the horse of the age. Wonder what the people below us thought. What do you think that door up there is for? Maybe, I guess they were saying that there was a third floor up above this. How would you get to it?
By MC Escher.
Yeah.
Is that the guy?
Yeah. Or that's the Winchester Mystery House.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder what's beyond that point. I wish I was authorized. See, and all these little things, all these pots on the wall, they just light stuff on fire. Stick their torches in there, or just put like boiling, or like flaming water, or flaming oil in there. Flaming water. The Irish really knew how to build their castles. It is, it's just impressive how the stairs just end right here. Like if the door was closed, you'd be like, whee! Back down here again. Right when I was about to say that this is the most open staircase, Jen almost falls down.
These steps are kind of...
Ahoy, hoy. Oh, they were coming out of the water. That was crazy. Those horses.
Look how pretty they are.
They're all soaking wet from coming through the water.
They look beautiful.
Oh no, look, this guy's like, oh, they're in a race, quick, stop, traffic.
Oh, this is the carriage race.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
I like this section of the castle, it's very nice. Look at it, oh, it's crazy looking with the creepy clouds behind it too. Look at that view. It's impressive. I feel like this house is all newer and they just added it into the castle. I think what happened is the people that owned the castle just built this as their house, which makes sense.
They're gonna go in the
they're
water.
pooping. There they go.
Oh no, look, they don't know which way to go. They don't
They're
want to
scared.
go.
Through the water. There you go. Do it. They got so scared.
They did.
Leave it in the comments. What do you guys think? Is that a castle or a house? Or a castle house? Adams, there's like wild roses growing on the side of the road right here. Wow. Adam seems to think that it's an outhouse.
It's a poop chute.
Poop chute. Look at this. It's pretty amazing that this is like old-timey right next to the mini dealership. Yeah, look. Crafts. Crafts and crafts and crafts and crafts. And crafts and crafts and crafts and crafts and giant churches.
You're literally.
I think we'll get closer to the church around the corner here.
Look, there it is.
Yeah, look.
Oh,
You're
brilliant.
pointing at me, not the church.
No, I was pointing at the church.
Yesterday.
If it's not bicyclists, it's horses. Always getting in the way. Quick, look through there. There's the church. Oh, here, it's like wide open right here so we can see in there.
Not really. It's
Churchy church.
Church of Ireland, St. Paul's Church.
The C of E, St. Ireland, something. What'd you say?
St. Paul's Church.
St. Paul's Church. I think we call them C of I. This is my house right now. Oh, look at that one. Look at, we had cars coming at us head on because they're trying to pass the horses. Look, they're not even racing. They were like having a conversation. They're like, you know, back down home at the bar. Linda just won't leave me alone. If you guys get tired of hearing the perils of Irish driving, I don't care. I'm not gonna stop. The rolling hills of Ireland. Look at this. We're in Cashel. Cashel, downtown Cashel. How do we do this? This is the highest of streets. We're looking for the castle of Cashel.
They have to get.
Yep. I'm so lost. I like how there's just this one castle-y looking thing right here in the center of this row of shops and buildings. Look, this is where we're headed to. The Cashel Castle.
Oh, here's the woolen store.
And look, there's what are they called? Sheep right outside the wool store.
Oh, no.
And a little baby cow. Oh, there's a sheep there too.
Is it?
Cows were afraid of the rain, and then the rain flipped their umbrella inside out, and now they're umbrella-less. And they're so sad. Look, he's like, oh, I wish I had my umbrella still. Welcome to the rock of Cashel.
You see toilets?
You guys know what those things were? Those were our urinals. Jen wanted me to show you because she was like, what? You just pee on the wall? Yes. Wow.
I don't really want to walk down this way.
The whole reason my dad wanted to come here was for this view. And boy, is it nice. I have to admit it. Oh yeah, we should take one with my phone. Dun 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 dun. Ooh, there's a step there, and I fell out the door. Wow. This is impressive.
Everything but that.
What do you think that was the corner of? This guy's in love with that.
What is it? What is
Huh? Maybe there's a... Look at, this is like the corner of the building that fell down. That's impressive. Wow. You gotta fly on me. Look at it, it's like left a crater. Not to mention the countryside. Wow, with the mountains in the background and the city.
And the in-betweens
And
of
the
your
hotness.
finger toes.
Man, my mom tells me, and I don't know if it's the truth or not, she says this piece blew off in a windstorm. I have a feeling that that's a lie. But it could be. What if there was somebody there? What if there's a dead body underneath there?
Like the Wicked Witch of the West, her little
Yeah.
feet curl up.
Are these graves? Or are they just stones? No, they've got writing on them. They are graves. I'm standing in somebody's grave. I feel bad now. But look, it's like a whole graveyard up there. Oh, there's a big one. Oh, this is like the best day of my life. I'm so excited right now. This is like, I'm nerding out over history. Look, there's people like walking out to that. But it's like really weird to me that there are people laying on the ground. Like, and there's a grave like right here. And there's a whole graveyard over there and more down there. But they're just like, let's sleep here.
Oh, this is money.
That's money?
Yeah, ring money.
Oh, that's crazy. Don't go beyond that point. Look, we're like on a rock.
Oh, these are the coat of arms. Wow. Can I take pictures?
Mm-hmm. Why do you think there's nothing underneath it?
Here dates back to the 4th century when a man named Conal Cork was a very powerful man. He was king of Munster back in the 4th century, and he decided that this spot here in Cashel would be a good centre of power. So he came here, saw the rock, which is just the hill part here, and decided that this would make a good stronghold for him and also some place to kind of rule from. And so from the 4th actually handed over to the church. And so all of the buildings that are still here, all the ones that you can still see, they date from that time onwards. They're here because they're churches or they're related to the church being here. But even before the site got handed over to the church, there was a Christian connection here, much more so than at other royal political sites in the country. See the baptism. So it would have been all of the dignitaries, everybody who was anybody important at this point in time would have been gathered to see the king being baptised. And Patrick was giving a speech about Christianity and about how great Christianity was. So he was lifting his staff, which would have had the hook, the crozier hook at the top. There's actually an example of a crozier hook just in the press over here. So he would have lifted that up with his staff and brought it thundering back down onto the ground, just in some point that he was making. And unfortunately, he wasn't looking where he was putting the staff when he brought it back down on the ground, and he put it right through the king's foot, who was standing next to him, which he didn't do to one of the most important men in the country in front of everybody who he was trying to impress. However, the king never said a word to St. Patrick. He didn't even make a sound as this happened. And St. Patrick figured out why afterwards. The king, it turned out, thought that this was part of the baptism ceremony, and he was supposed to keep quiet and show how, stoic and king-like he was. He may have been outside and had a look at the copy that they placed outside. The original was getting too damaged outside, so back in the 1970s they moved it in just to try and protect it. So that's why it's inside in here. And then they made a copy to place where it had been for hundreds of years, so people could still see what it looked like when it was in situ. Line up the cross. More what you would have seen over in Rome and in Italy. It would have had two very long arms, and then the two supports which are underneath each of the arms. And there's one of them still left that you can have a look at there. Now there's lots of bits of local folklore that rose up around the cross here, particularly when it's back inside. And it said that if you go up to it and you put your arms around it, and I get to about here, but if you're taller than me and you've got longer arms, you can put your arms around it. If you manage to get your fingers to touch at the other side, not only do you have very long arms, but you'll never again get a toothache. And that's the...
A toothache?
A toothache. And you hop around the cross, and you manage to get around the cross 9 times without having your other foot touch the ground or without falling over, as some people have. It's said that you'll get married within a year. So you can try that one too.
High five.
It doesn't actually work though, sorry.
Look at the size of that bell. Fancy.
Yeah. Oh no, no worries.
Buildings to be built here. It was built back in the 1400s, and this was built by one of the archbishops as a home for the choir. So we're actually inside the choir's dining room. We came through the kitchen. Downstairs was actually a storage room where they would store everything that they needed, like to live down in the town and you had to live up here. You weren't actually allowed to live down with your wife because you had to give your whole life over to the choir. That was what they told them they had to do. The floor underneath us, in fact, up through the middle of this room, there was a giant tree after growing up. So that was how much of a shell of a building it had become. And in the late 1970s, they decided to restore it and to bring it back and show people what it would have looked like when it was in use in the 1400s. And they were very careful to only use materials and methods that would have been used and would have been seen back in the 1400s. So you've got this lovely Irish oak roof just up above us. Instead of nails, you've got these wooden pegs coming out through it. They're used all the way through it, there's no nails in it, and they're better than nails because they expand and contract with the wood in whatever weather conditions there is. Picture of the Queen of Sheba paying a visit to King Solomon over here. Now if you look behind King Solomon at the man leaning on his spear, meant to be protecting him, well, the reason he's leaning on his spear is if you look carefully, he's only got one leg down there at the side. In the centre, we've got King Solomon. Now, he was a Jewish king, so this is a Jewish court scene, and in a Jewish court, what you would absolutely not have found was that small little dog there. They were seen as scavengers, they were unclean, they would not have been let near the king like they were. Now over here we've got the Queen of Sheba. Now she would have been a queen from Ethiopia down in Africa, and as you can see she's got lovely blonde hair, which just would not have been the case. And then behind her you've got her lady in waiting. Now I say lady, but if you look at her stomach she's got a six-pack there. So either she's been working out or it's a man's stomach, and that's what they were trying to show.
Holy macaroni. Very moldy in here.
We gotta take some vitamins after this.
Yeah, right? And it's also very chilly.
We gotta keep it cold.
Now it was consecrated, work were completed on it back in 1134. So only 30 years after the site got handed over to the church here. Now it was built by a man named King Cormac McCarthy. And when Cormac was building this, he wanted to show off just how wealthy and how sophisticated he was. So he went over to Europe and he brought back the best architects and stonemasons he could find from Europe to work on the building here. And he also brought back the Romanesque style. This is the first Romanesque chapel in Ireland and the best example of a Romanesque chapel in Ireland. So you've got these rounded arches that you see here, rather than pointed ones which are on the later Gothic style. And if you look inside, you've got what looks like blocked up doors, they're called blind arches. Up above us we've got this inverted barrel ceiling, and then behind me here we've got this very large archway which leads into where the altar would be. Now if you look at the arch here, you can see all of these heads and faces all the way around it. And the ones at the top, the ones looking down at you there, they're the faces of the people who worked in the building, the men, the stonemasons who worked on it. And so when they were finished, they decided, well, the best way to leave their mark in the building was to carve their own likenesses into the stone. However, as you go down the way, you see they start to get a lot less human. Until you get down here, and that's definitely not a stonemason. And that's because the ones on the way down are meant to be demons going down towards hell, and the ones at the top, where the stonemasons are, they're the ones which are heading off up towards heaven. In the frescoes that were up here on the walls. Now these are the oldest and really the only example of frescoes from anywhere near this period in Ireland. And again, as I said, where it's actually more expensive than gold. It's made from a stone called lapis lazuli. And the only place in the world that you can find, even today, lapis lazuli, pure lapis lazuli, in the mountains of Afghanistan. So it had to be mined in Afghanistan, brought through the Middle East, brought through Europe, and by the time that reached Ireland and Cashel, it was worth more than twice its weight in gold. Try and protect it. And it's a completely different design to the rest of the church. It really doesn't belong in here. This is actually more of a Northern European, Scandinavian design that's here in the front, whereas the rest is a very Latin, Romanesque, Italian design church. Now what this was used for is, when an important person died, and they would have had to be very important, they would have to be an archbishop or a saint, they'd be laid out in here, but they wouldn't be left in here for very long. They'd pour lime over the top of them, cover the top up again, which we would have had a capstone on the top of it. And then after 3 or 4 months, there'd be nothing left but their bones inside the sarcophagus. And they could either take these out and use them as relics, which is very popular, passing them from church to church, so that because they literally thought that they could absorb the holiness of the dead person through having their bones, or they could be reburied somewhere on the site. Because I don't want to kind of interrupt with her tour, so I'll turn. Okay, so the tower house here, it was actually built in the 1400s at the same time as they were building the Vicar's Choral over here, with the first building I was in. Now, the tower houses like this are incredibly common. They're found all over the country in Ireland here. Although they're not used as home. This is where his house that he built in the 1400s. And it was built very much not for comfort, but for defense. You've got these very, very thick walls, and then the small little skinny windows mean that you can fire arrows out which go around the middle, inside of the walls. Now passageways like this go around all the way around the cathedral. You can walk the whole way around the cathedral without ever setting foot on the ground here. And these were, as well as being convenient, because obviously you could run around the inside the walls here, they were also used for defence. They were the last line of defence if anybody did get inside in the tower house or inside in the cathedral. So the Archbishop and all the people who were meant to be protecting him would go inside into the walls, and they'd hide in there. And there'd be hiding places, and there would also be things like trip steps and low-lying ceilings to catch anybody who's walking inside in them, especially if you're wearing a helmet and you can only see this much ahead of you. It's up there that was knocked down in the 1800s. So if you want to follow me in, we're just going to go in.
Jeez Louise. We're in a different room. We were going to be in that room, but there were too many people. So we came out. Oh, that's crazy.
Okay, so I've just brought you over here, so just that we're not to start after, and when they go, we'll go out to the middle of the cathedral. Now, this cathedral was built back in the 1200s, between 1230 and 1270, so that was 100 years after Cormac's Chapel. And they used what was popular in the 1200s, which was the Gothic style instead of the Romanesque style. So you had, instead of these rounded arches, you've got all of these pointed arches. You can see them all along here and in the centre here. And also, if you put a point on the top of an arch, you can build it much bigger than you can a rounded arch. See that archway there? You'll never find a rounded arch that large because basically they're not structurally stable, and that's why when you put a point on it, they're much bigger. Actually, it was lepers. There was a place in Cashel there, people with leprosy or any other skin disease, in fact, if they were bad enough skin disease, you were kept separate from everybody else in the community. And in Cashel, you were kept in a leper colony about a mile out on the other side of town. So before Mass started, you'd have to walk through town, which is exactly actually half an hour from the rock here, because I live where the lepers are meant to be. You'd walk half an hour through town, you'd ring your bells as you walked through the town so that you were warning people to keep away from you. You'd shout unclean, unclean, in fact, as you walked through the town. This was a legal requirement for them. They'd come up here to the rock, and when they could come up and go into these passageways, pass by where the window was, and they could see what was going on, but they weren't mixing in with everybody else. And the idea was that you weren't passing on all of them to the church. When it was being built, they got their faces carved into the stone. If you gave them enough money, basically. So that's a very, very wealthy lady up there on the wall. It was the mortar in between the stones, they were replacing it so that it would still be standing in another couple of years. And when they were doing that against this wall here, somebody knocked off a giant chunk of plaster, and underneath the plaster they found green. Now, these things already uncovered in the last 3 years, and you can still see what it was. It's a crucifixion scene in the centre, and people like the music that it's red one and used for an artist's interpretation. Near the altar, only the archbishops were buried up at that end. And the most famous is Meiler McGrath. Now, Meiler is known as the scoundrel of Cashel. And that's because originally Meiler was a Catholic bishop up in the north of the country, up in County Down. The only problem was that Meiler was a Catholic bishop during the reign of the Protestant Queen Elizabeth. So being a Catholic bishop was not a very good job. So he had actually visited the court of Queen Elizabeth a number of times. He was lucky enough to come from a very, very wealthy family. And he visited the court. And he made an impression on the Queen because he kept on writing to her afterwards. Now, the reason apparently that he made an impression on the Queen is because he was very, very good looking.
There are so many like crypts and graves around this whole place. I don't know. This I think is, that is, and I think this is. She said that this was an entire family underneath this entire area. Jeez Louise. There's some more crypts. I wonder, oh, this is like the stairs leading up. Man, they said that those passageways are all throughout the whatever this thing's called. Some more up there.
Monks established the monastery down here. It was originally Benedictine monks, but the Benedictine set up here took a severe disliking to them. They wore these black robes which would have went down over their faces. And one night he had a dream that all of these black-robed monks were going to come up the hill here, climb into his room and try to kill him. So the next morning he went down to the abbey here and he kicked all of the Benedictine monks out. And instead he brought in Cistercian monks. Now Cistercian monks differed from the Benedictine monks in a number of quite important ways. The Benedictines, well, they wore black, the Cistercians wore white. The Benedictines spent lots of their time cloistered inside the monastery here in deep prayer, kind of in deep speculation and thought. The Cistercian monks were very different. They went out onto the land here and they worked with the land. They were the working monks. So they worked with the people around the area and they worked on the agriculture. So it increased the yield of all of the land which you can see here. And as well as that, the Cistercian monks set up breweries down in the monastery here. So he could order alcohol up the hill whenever he liked. Although they are only found in Ireland, and in Ireland they're only found on religious or ecclesiastical sites.
Around.
Now what I was taught at school, and what you still see a lot of children being taught at school, is that these were used as defensive buildings. Because they're built in monasteries, and they're built in monasteries at the time that the Vikings were attacking Ireland. So what I was taught was that you went up to the top looking for the Vikings coming. And when you saw them, you'd warn everybody, all of the monks or the people who would have been on the site, they'd run to the tower here and climb up a ladder which would lead to the doorway. Now the doorway there is on the left, you can see it's very high off the ground. They'd climb up the ladder there, into the tower, up to the top, and then when the last one had gone in, he'd pull in the ladder with them into the tower, close the door, and the idea was that they were safe in there until the Vikings went away and they stopped attacking. If you look at the tower here again, it actually would have been a terrible place to be in the case of an attack. Because look at it, all your Viking needs is another ladder, and they're up beside the doorway there anyway, and then when they got into the tower, they would have gone straight up to the top, and that was the end of anybody who was inside. And so, actually what they were used for is bell towers. And they've always been known in Irish, in the Irish language, as Clig Chop, which means bell house. So the monks would have got up to the top, or whoever was here, got up to the top, rang bells at the top of the tower to tell people to go to mass, or when they wanted them to pray. That way. And they found when they were building this new tower that if you built the doorway there at the base of the tower, that the tower is going to collapse. It's not structurally stable like that. And so that's why they're such high up. It's so that they can have very thick foundations. And it's not for defence, it's actually for stability. Now the Scullys were a very wealthy family here back in the 1800s. And they were a landowning family, and they built this back in the 1800s. Down at the base of it is a crypt where the family are buried. And then up at the top of it, there was this lovely high Celtic style cross. It's exactly like the ones all the way around the graveyard here. But it was much taller. It was in fact within a foot of being the same height as the round tower over here. You see, there's a lot gone from the top here. And unfortunately the problem is that this is not a good place to have a top-heavy, very high monument, because it's on the top of a hill, and if any wind blows, it obviously gets very, very strong. So it lasted 90 years, but in 1970, what happened is that a particularly terrible Mary Poppins style wind flew across the top here, and it knocked the top of the monument down. And you can still see it, that's all the way down the hill at the back, there's little bits of it broken off.
Oh yeah, look at that. Here's all the pieces of the top of the cross. Some down there, and there's some right here. I wonder if there are some... Nope. Oh yeah, there's a little bit down there. Huh. I guess not. I don't know. I think that this is probably it. And then there's a piece down there. And then probably scattered throughout. Look at this. Look at this view. Through the graveyard and the beer monk factory.
Where? Oh, down there?
Yeah. And there's Adam's head, and Jen's head, and my dad's head, and the mountains in the background. This is amazing. This is gonna be like the longest video ever. This is crazy that this is not a castle. This is an abbey? Is that what he said? What do they call this?
It's
a cathedral.
It wasn't. It's where the...
It was a stronghold.
Yeah.
But at the same time it was a cathedral. We didn't even get to go up there because of all the scaffolding. I feel like this person really liked oranges. Maybe. Oh. Oh no, look, zombies are coming out of this grave. It's cracked open. Ooh, zombies. Look, here's another one where the cross just fell right down. And here it is right here. That's crazy. It must have been quite a windstorm. So the story is that if you can get your hands all the way around this cross while you're hugging it, then you'll never have a toothache ever again. Jen's gonna try it. No, you have to hop around it. Oh, so close. Nope, not happening. Not happening.
There you go. You never have to go to the dentist again. It's gonna save us so much money. What's what?
So what if I touch 3 of my 4 fingers?
That means that you only have one toothache.
We're taking the bishop's walk because he didn't like living up here. So he moved down into the town and he built something called the palace or something, the bishop's palace. We're gonna go.
It's called now. That's what it's called now.
Oh, but we're gonna go. What is it called?
I don't know.
Oh.
The bishop's.
Cashel. We're gonna whatever it's called. We're gonna go down there, and apparently it's the birthplace of Guinness. The guy who invented Guinness used to be Albert Guinness used to be the servant.
The lady upstairs said that Albert Guinness, his father, was his servant and made the first Guinness.
Yeah, here. Not where we're gonna go tomorrow in Dublin.
Dublin.
I think these are them. I think this is all hops.
Eat one.
No, that sounds gross. But this is what they used. The first trees to brew Guinness. It does. It looks pretty rough, but it's still nice. Look, you can. Oh, you can't even see it. He's like, I don't even want to see the darn eyesore up there. Apparently, the Archbishop has a helicopter, and he stays here. That's pretty nice. I mean, aside from the helicopter in the lawn. There we go. That's a much better view without the helicopter. These are all the famous people that have come to this hotel. Yeah, look at that. Diana Spencer, princess. This is craziness. Look at this. We got like just straight castles right next to us here. How'd you like to live in that house and like look out your window and be like, castle? Ireland, your roads are too small. I know that there's like a castle here, but your roads are too small. In the bar, having one last Guinness before we turn in for the night.
Watching the Irishman win the US Open.
You guys hear the girls singing in the background? Join in, Jen.
I don't know this one. Alejandro.
Another day in wonderful Ireland. I'm sorry this video was so ridiculously long, but we did so much stuff today. I'll see you guys tomorrow where we're gonna do even more.
And now it's time to drink a Guinness.
Pay the price of a Guinness. Okay.
Just change it for this.
Okay. Go ahead, say it again.
I already said it one time.
Say it
Now
one
you
more
have
time.
to pay me.
For what?
Because I'm not going to say it again.
Oh.
What?